Hello, my name is Simon Cadel, and welcome to the News Millennium. So as you may know, I'm currently in high school, so I spend a lot of time with teenagers. And since the election's coming up, politics have been a hot topic. And like hot topic, it's depressing and something you really don't want to go into. But something that might surprise you is that a lot of my classmates are conservatives, and I'm not alone. According to a poll, 57% of teenagers would prefer a small government with less taxes, 75% said they would support an anti-gay marriage candidate despite that view, and amazingly, 75% also said they would support restrictions on abortions. Obviously this poll was taken before prom, but it seems that much like typewriters, suspenders, and vinyl, conservatism is something that's popular with teenagers despite your grandpa being into it. So, why do teenagers like the Republicans? Well, firstly, teenagers voting for the first time this year were only 3 years old on 9/11, and only 6 years old when Iraq was invaded. These kids weren't thinking of the ethical consequences of destabilizing a nation for oil. They were thinking of the ethical consequences of stealing a cookie from Pop Pop's kitchen. As such, teenagers can feel bad about 9/11 without feeling angry about the invasion. It's less never forget and more never forget the attack itself, but the Middle Eastern quagmire. So when right-wing politicians advocate for invading, carpet bombing, or building luxury hotels in the Middle East, it's no wonder that teenagers think patriot and not petrol. Secondly, teenagers are subject to peer pressure, and usually gravitate towards the coolest guy in the room. I mean, think about it. What teen wouldn't want to vote for the guy with fast cars, private jets, hot girls, preferably not their daughter? I mean, seriously, it's like voting for Drake. And lastly, what's something that every generation of teenager has been into? Rebelling against authority. I mean, think in the 1950s, one of the most conservative eras in US history. Teens were sick of their parents' conservative policies, conformity, and use of the word neato. So when they grew up, they created the counterculture of the 60s. And now, I think we're seeing that again, but in reverse. We've had a liberal president for 8 years, and maybe teenagers are rebelling against the establishment by voting for old white guys who hate gay people. Eventually, you're gonna see conversations like this. Now son, come downstairs, we're going to the climate change rally. Shut up, Dad! Global warming's a myth! It was just never created by the good Christian God! Maybe I'm overthinking this and teenagers are just stupid, and yes they are. But I think it's more than that. And as a teenager, I want to send a message to my peers. Look, it's okay to be angry, but everything you're angry about was caused by conservatives, not liberals. Financial crisis? Bush. Poor education? No Child Left Behind. ISIL? Operation Enduring Freedom. But there are plenty of other ways to rebel that don't involve destroying the country. Shop at Urban Outfitters. Listen to ska music. Buy one of those wacky square-shaped cars. But don't vote Republican. And you know why? Because it's what your dad would do. Once again, my name is Simon Cadel, and thank you for watching the News Millennium.